I just got back from the shops and I purchased this. It's a Rolex Oyster Perpetual. It's a steel dial 36mm variant. It's beautiful. But as soon as I bought it, I stuffed up. And now I no longer own this watch. I know what you're thinking. Oh, he flipped it, he made some money. No, I didn't. I was actually looking for this for myself, but unfortunately, it's no longer mine. I actually gave it away. Stick around and I'll share why. Okay, welcome back guys. So after that intro, everyone's thinking, what the heck, Pete, what have you done? You've given a Rolex away. I have, guys, I have. I'll explain why in a second, but guys, let me just explain. I've been looking for this watch for a while. It's the silver variant, the silver dial, or sunburst grey as you might call it. It's a really nice piece. I purchased it on the pre-owned market. I found it in interstate. I was traveling, and on my journeys I was doing an internet search, and this came up and I thought, wow, it's here, it's great, it's local. So I went to have a look at it, I sized it up, I put it on my wrist, I bought it, it's mine. So wonderful looking piece. It's actually ticked every single box I was expecting for this particular watch. It's probably got, I'd say two, possibly three negatives on this particular unit, but a lot of real good vibe coming out of it, a lot of good positives. I'm really impressed on how it sits on the wrist, how it wears, the movement obviously. So guys, what happened? I got home, I showed my wife, I said, honey, what do you think of this watch? And she looked at it, she goes, oh wow, that's beautiful, that's stunning. She lit up, she literally lit up. And I saw her expression, and guys, my wife does not really get involved in my watches. She's sort of like, yeah, they're all the same. They're all just watches. And as soon as she saw this watch, she literally lit up. And I thought, you know what, honey, this is for you. She goes, what? I said, this watch is for you. I bought it for you. She was overwhelmed. She was literally overwhelmed. And guys, it made me so happy to give this watch away. So I gave the watch to her. At the end of this video, this watch is officially my wife. So, but it was in my collection for 10 minutes. It is what it is, but I'm still going to share my thoughts on this. I think it's a stunning piece. I think it's in fact, I think it's one of the most versatile watches that Rolex makes. So, but let's get on to this watch, guys. I want to explain a few things about it, what I think, what I like, what I dislike. There's probably about 5, possibly 6 positives, and there's a couple of negatives. So let's get on to the specs of the watch. Firstly, what we have here, it's a Rolex Oyster Perpetual, reference number 116000. Its case diameter is 36mm with a lug-to-lug distance of 44mm. The lug width is 20mm, and the case height I'm measuring at just under 12, about 11.8mm. So it's a really nicely spec'd watch. It features also a screw-down crown, a twin lock one with 100 meters of water resistance, and it weighs in at about 120 grams, sized up to my 7-inch wrist, which is pure delight. So the watch itself is beautiful. It looks great. It's what I've been looking for. It really, that dial, that sunburst grey, that silver steel dial really does look great in different lighting conditions. So I'm going to put it on the wrist to show you guys what it looks like on my 7-inch wrist. Okay, there you go. So that's how the watch sits on my 7-inch wrist, and it's absolutely, like I said, it's a pure delight. It's wonderful. It sits beautifully flat, extremely comfortable. In fact, this has taken comfort to a completely different level. I'm so impressed with being a 36mm. See, a lot of people say, oh, 36, it might be a sort of female's watch and so forth. It's actually not. It's one of the original Explorer was in 36, and this sits brilliantly. And to be honest, I actually purchased it for a reason. I purchased it because I wanted to see what a 36mm Explorer sits like, because I know that Rolex has gone down that direction. I thought, you know what, I'll buy an Oyster Perpetual, see what it's like, and if I enjoy it, you know, I'll save up and basically outlay the money. So this is lovely, and I'm probably not going to look at an Explorer because I'm thoroughly enjoying this. So look, I've given the watch to my wife, she's taken it off my hands and she's loving it. And I tell you what, it actually looks brilliant on her wrist as well. So let's take the watch off, let's see what it features, its specs, what I like and what I dislike about this watch. So first and foremost, for those who know Rolex, they've got a great movement. This particular one features a Rolex in-house movement, the caliber 3130. So it's a COSC certified It basically runs in at plus or minus 2 seconds per day, 48-hour power reserve. It's a well-proven movement, highly rated, and this thing is excellent. It's running fantastic on the time grapher, excellent on the wrist. So that's one of the great things that Rolex does. They do a really precise, really well-tested movement, and these are great. These are no different. Now the dial on this watch, as you can see, is a silver steel dial. It's got applied white gold markers as well as white gold handset, and it is absolutely beautiful. It really catches the light beautifully, and it looks great under different circumstances. Now if you look at the applied markers at the 3, 6 and 9, you have dual markers, and they are, look, subjectively I absolutely love them. I think they balance out the dial. They create some sort of a character that this watch absolutely needs. I think it would have been a little bit too plain if it just had single markers all the way across, so that is lovely. And the applied white gold coronet at the top is lovely as well. It just seems to just balance out perfectly. Now being the no date version, this is absolutely hassle free. So for my wife, who really couldn't be bothered with automatic watches, this is the ideal gift. And if you have a look at the crown, it's a screw down crown, twin lock, so we unscrew it, it pops out. There's really only one position you pull out, which is hacking, and we can adjust the movement and the time to wherever we want. As soon as we push that in, the movement starts up again. The hand winding of the actual movement is lovely, as is with all Rolexes, and the screw down experience is perfect as well. So we push it in, it latches on, super smooth. There you go, 100 meters of water resistance. So the watch is lovely. As a daily, for me, I see here a classic looking styling watch. In fact, this is the sort of watch a proper standard watch design should look like in my eyes. It's a classic time tested design. It's visually appealing. It really is a pleasurable experience on the wrist. Now another thing that I like about Rolex is their attention to detail. If you look at the rehaut, that's the silver spacer between the dial and the sapphire crystal. It says Rolex, Rolex, Rolex all the way around, as well as their serial number. But that actual rehaut, on the top of it, if you look where the 12 o'clock is, where the coronet is, it has a coronet up there as well. And at each marker on the right hand side, it says X, 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 as you can see. But on the left hand side of the dial, you got R. There you go, just there, R, R and R at every marker. And for me, that's just, you know, spending a little bit more finesse and time in actually doing something with a watch that you appreciate when you have it in the hand, and that's wonderful. Now the bracelet of the watch is an Oyster bracelet, as you can see, it's got solid end links, solid links all the way through. It's staggered. It tapers down from 20 mil all the way down to just over 15.5. Really nice. I think that's what aids in the comfort of this watch. It's wonderful. It features a beautiful clasp, as you can see, ordained, polished, very nice detail. The clasp itself, as you can see, single click, very comforting, very reassuring, not a problem. Now, the clasp features micro adjustments, but it's not the Easy Glide system. What you need to do is put basically a spring bar tool into there, and it's got 3 different micro adjustments forward and backward. So you do need a tool to adjust it, and it's a bit of a bummer at this sort of level. I mean, you're paying this much money to get a watch this nice and you don't have an Easy Glide system. A lot of micro brands are supplying that today, and when Rolex is not in their base model, you're thinking, well, come on guys, you know, step up your act. But again, that's marketing for you. Now with all watches, they have positives as well as negatives. Now the positives on this particular watch that I can see, first and foremost on top of the list, the movement. The movement is an in-house 3130 caliber, as we spoke. It's COSC certified, beats at 28,800 beats per hour. Really nice, solid, well-proven movement over time. You can't go wrong. You really can't. So that's a big plus for a watch like this. Number 2, the overall design and the classic feel of this watch. I think, to me, this is what a classic standard watch design should look like. In my eyes, this is ideal. It's balanced, it's perfect, it's subtle, it's not overly designed, it's not underly designed, it's just a really nice timepiece. And that's what this is. Number 3, comfort. In fact, it's indiscreet. You can't even feel it on the wrist. It is that nice. It is really that nice. So being a 36mm, I think that's got a lot to do with the fact that it wears so well. And a lot of guys are starting to see the benefit of smaller watches like this. Positive number 4, that screw down crown. That screw down crown twin lock system offers beautiful 100 meters of water resistance, reassurance, safety. You can't go wrong. The last positive of this watch is the attention to detail, the finishing. So, you know, if, like I spoke before about that rehab where you've got the Rolex engraved on it, the coronet and so forth, X on every marker and R on every marker on this side. That's fantastic. Little attention to detail, little things like that that make a difference to a watch. So with all watches, like I said, there's positives, but there's also negatives, and this particular watch is no exception. Top of the list has to be that sapphire crystal. That sapphire crystal does not offer any anti-reflective coating, and as you can see, as we move into the light, we lose that dial. And that's just a simple fix that they, you know, Rolex does not do on any of their models, whether it's Daytona, Submariner, Explorer, Oyster Perpetual. They don't put anti-reflective coating, and that's a shame. You're paying so much money for a watch like this. It's lovely, it's wonderful, it fits great, it's finished beautifully, no AR. So to me it doesn't make sense, but it is what it is. It's probably a rant that everyone's had over the years. Second negative on this watch, like I mentioned before, the clasp. Very positive how it locks and releases. The only issue is the glide system. It does not offer it. The micro adjustment still needs a tool, and that, like I said, at that price, and that price, guys, it should have been included. But again, this is just an entry-level Rolex. It's basically the Seiko 5 of Seikos. It's the Seiko 5 of Rolex. It's their entry level, but a very, very good one. So they're my two main issues that I have with this particular watch. But even in saying that, even with that clasp, I managed to find fantastic comfort in any of those micro adjustments. So it really is a comfortable experience, and I think it's got a lot to do with its dimensions, its shape, the tapering of the bracelet, the way the overall design just sits beautifully. So I wanted to share that with you guys. This is now no longer my watch. This is now my wife's watch. I'm gutted, but I'm also extremely happy to see a smile on her face, and that she's pleased, then I'm pleased. I hope you enjoyed it, guys. Thanks for watching. We'll see you in the next video.